we can make it work. Hopefully there is sound, otherwise I'll have to figure out something. There is sound. Lovely stuff. Alright. We made it. We're live. I figured out how it works. And now my lamp's about to fall on the floor. Great. Right, well, I suppose this is the appropriate thing to do instead of a video. Also, it is something I promised all the way back in summer. But I've been a busy man with all my weekends filled up, which is why I haven't done it sooner. But now, as a response to me hitting 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, I felt this is a a great way to celebrate. Just talk to you people, the ones who did subscribe and who are subscribed, and the ones who are gonna watch and all you people. So, welcome. We'll let people join, just to make sure that the sound is okay. Can you hear me? See if it I think my sound is okay. I can hear myself on my stream. So, as you know, as I promised, we're gonna you can ask questions. It's like a Q&A stream where you can ask questions about my headcanon, about plans, about, you know, the stuff you would like to, the stuff you're curious about. At least the stuff that's not like too personal for me. I am a private person, all that. You can. I'll probably not answer them, but you can still. And you can hear me. You can hear me. Amazing. Amazing. You have to consider this. This is my second time streaming. It's my first time streaming via OBS. The first time I streamed was on the gaming channel, where I used, I don't know what it's called, but some website streaming service where you just copy the channel to it. And it's pretty basic. It does the trick, but it doesn't really look that good. I figured out how to do it via OBS now, so yeah. Seems to be working right now. How many are we? 35 people. That's a little bit more than I thought, but cool. Well, I suppose it always seems you are asking questions. I suppose we could do 10 minutes at first, and then later on I plan on having some little bit prettier background stuff with a route building session in Trainz. Ooh, exciting, isn't it? I think it is. I think it's going to be exciting. But we can let this run for another 10 minutes or something. And yeah, suppose we can just get started. What's the first question I can see? Porter. Where's Porter going to be in your headcanon? Probably not on Sodor. At least he's not going to be living on Sodor. I haven't quite decided on him yet. What I do think is going to happen is that he's going to travel to Sodor during World War II. But of course that means I have to get to World War II, which we're not there yet. We're not even that close, considering how many characters are still yet to come. Yeah. If you don't want to hear spoilers about the series, you should probably not be watching this. I like giving spoilers. I mean, I like answering your questions and all. Just be patient, y'all. That's all I ask of you people when it comes to me putting videos out. Be patient, yes. Porter, what is the Southern Mainland Trio hiding? Stuff. But that I will not tell you yet, because that is something work in progress. At least the video that'll talk about it. Or videos, actually. Yeah. When did you first see Thomas and Friends? Basically, since I started watching TV. According to my mom and dad, I first watched Thomas when I was 2 years old. And I guess it never really stopped. So, and still watching it today, of course. It's a great show. Great. At least the first 7 seasons are banging. Will Hero appear in your AU? Now this is a very complicated question, at least a very complicated thing for me, within the nature of my headcanon. Because in my series, I am very cautious about historical accuracy, like would it make sense in terms of like real life history. And Hero, as much as I want him to arrive on Sodor, it's very hard for me to figure out why and how he would. Because you have to consider the D-51s that Hero are based on are narrow gauge. And from Japan. All the way from Japan. So why would he travel to... why would he end up on Sodor? First of all, he wouldn't fit, because no railway on Sodor are meter gauge, but... even more so, why Japanese locomotive and all? Also, I guess you can say that... well, one thing you also can consider is that there were actually 2 standard gauge D-51s built, but they were built for the Korean Railway. So, when considering those, it could work, but then again, that would mean that Hero loses a lot of his character, his story. That's why I'm struggling to see how I can fit Hero in, because it doesn't really make sense within the nature of the story. I guess one other thing you can also do with Hero is have him be built on Sodor, because that would at least make a little bit more sense. But then again, at the moment in the series, they don't need another heavy goods engine, at least not right now. And when they do, I think you know who's the next goods engine to happen, to arrive on Sodor, because I have teased it in the past. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. Oof. Sorry, that was a long talk. Who's my favorite character in Thomas and Friends? My favorite character from Thomas and Friends are Boko. See, you probably thought it was Hero, but Hero is one of my favorite characters. He was when I made this channel, but I've since grown to have a lot more respect and love for Boko, just because I like Boko. Oh, I'm missing a lot of new stuff. Okay. Is Alpha going to come back to Sodor? Yes. Any upcoming engine arrival videos for 2025? I hope so. You have to consider that the special I've been talking about kind of needs to happen in order for me to upload more engine arrivals. It'll make sense once they come out, but I can't guarantee when. But there will be engine arrivals in 2025. At least I will make sure of that. Will you have engine arrivals for the narrow gauge chaps? Yes, I will. At some point when I get around to it. I guess I could do those in the meantime while I work on the special. Because those could fill in for the standard gauge engine arrivals that I can't quite work on at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, I probably could do that. Probably should do that as well. Need some context for those guys. Will Diesel 10 be in your AU? Not the Diesel 10 from Thomas and the Magic Railway. Probably closer to what Victor Tanzik did. I can't say if he's going. I don't think. At the moment, he's not going to be arriving on Sodor, but he's probably going to appear in some videos, in some other videos as well. Let's see, what's my favorite season of Thomas and Friends? That is season 3, because it's the one I have the most fond memories of when watching as a kid. But season 4 is a very close second. What year was Percy built? Oh yeah, when was Percy built and by whom? Well, you know the engine 1338, Great Western 1338. that is pretty much like the same story Percy will have. He's not going to be 1338, but he's going to have basically the same story, like built by the same people around the same time, and working on the same railway as well. Oh, a lot of stuff been missing. Or I've been missing a lot of stuff. Oh damn, shit. What video on my channel am I most proud of? Probably Eric's Engine Arrival, because that's the one that ties together a lot of like things I set up in stories, and also it's like a crucial character development for Gordon. So that's probably my favorite one, at least like the one I'm most proud of, because it did so much, and is also the most popular video on my channel, which is ludicrous in my opinion. Will Bear be on the Brendan branch in your headcanon? He will not. He will be on the main line. So, but he's going to arrive, but of course not yet, because we're not in the 60s when he was built. Are you going to change the name to Fan of Boko? Probably not, because that doesn't sound as good as Fan of Hero. Maybe might be a joke about it at some point, but I'm sticking with Fan of Hero for now. Has Lady been officially purchased on Sodor? She has been purchased, at the moment, she's been purchased by the China Clay Pits. She's a privately owned engine. But like I said in the sort of profile about the China Clay Pits, she is going to be bought by the Northwestern Railway later on, when they decide they don't need her, or don't want her. So, she's not purchased by the Northwestern Railway yet, but she will be, at some point. Can I make an excuse about Hero being re-gauge? It'll be a bit of a stretch, but I probably could. Then I have to really like dig deep for a good reason for it. At least like to try and have it make sense. Because why? Excuse me, but why would Soda buy an engine from Japan? First of all, they were enemies during World War II, and second of all, there are probably a lot other leftover locomotives from like Britain or the USA that would probably have suited them a little better. So, I don't know. Do you have the Railway Series book in Danish? I don't. I don't actually know if they were translated. I have those like small character books in Danish. You know, actually I'll go get them quick. I hope that you're all aware of these, but you know, these ones, I have those in Danish. I have a few of them. I do actually have this one. This is an English one. I don't know why I have an English one, but I do. I have it. So God, I have Gordon, I have Emily, I have Percy, I have Thomas, I have Toby, and yeah, I have Thomas. I have two Thomases. I don't know why. Well, actually I do. It's because I have a twin brother who probably also got one. Yeah. But like in terms of a Railway Series, like the official Railway Series, I don't know. It probably was, but I don't have it. Will you make Cullen an old wise engine just like Sword at War? Probably not. I don't wanna like directly copy Victor, but I don't know. I haven't quite decided on exactly what I'm gonna do in World War II. I feel like a good idea, but yeah, we'll see. Will there be more stories about the Big Four? There will be. You know the next railway I need to cover, or I'm going to cover. The problem is it's been insanely difficult to get a good story about it. Like we're currently at I'm currently going with one story that I'm like working on. But it's the fourth story that I've like tried to get into fruition. The first one required some models that I didn't have, like a Great Western Star Class with a face, and the Great Western number 36 with a face. You know, the very first 460 that the Great Western built. So I commissioned Connor, the same guy who made Wilson's model, to make them. I commissioned him to make a few Great Western models back in September of 2023. Now, don't want to put any blame on him because he's, as he said before, he's a busy man, but they are not done yet. So, and it's been a year. So I tried to make it. So I tried to go for a different story instead. The next one I tried to do was the gauge war. You know, the broad gauge versus the standard gauge stuff that happened for the Great Western Railway. I found heaps of models by I don't remember what his name is, but his site is called INGZ4 or something. He has like loads of broad gauge locomotives and rolling stock and scenery, which I thought, great, that would be really cool. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to face mesh though. You're not allowed to face mesh those, as he confirmed in an email. You're not allowed to do anything to them. So that kind of threw that one out the window. The third story I tried was about City of Churro's speed record, and that's like a pretty good one to go for because you basically have all the models you need, except for a Great Western at Barra class, and there is none on the market, at least as far as I know. So I didn't really want to commission Connor again because he was already busy with my other commission stuff. So I decided to sit down and try and model it myself. And I have to admit, the model I ended up making, I think is pretty good. I'm quite proud of the model I made in Blender. The problem was I just couldn't export it properly. I couldn't export it to the point where it worked. Like when I tried to export it, the wheels wouldn't rotate. I've tried so much stuff to try and make them work. I've like sought help from my good friend Ricardo, who is like an amazing modeler and knows how to export and stuff. And I gave up eventually at some point because I thought I was just getting tired. So recently, I've come up with a new fourth story idea for the Great Western Railway. And that surrounds the proposed Great Western Pacifics in the 1940s. And that is probably the one I'm gonna go for, at least for now, because there is enough stuff out there to make it a reality. Like there is a cathedral model out there. It's an 06 model, so it's a little bit. I think it could be a better model. And that leads back to Ricardo, my friend, who has made a Great Western Cathedral model. It's not out, but he has said that I would be allowed to use it. He has to make some changes to it because it's called Knapford Cathedral and stuff. And yeah, so might be that as well. We'll see what happens. I might also take a look back at the exporting thing to see if I can make that work. I don't know, but what I will say is it's happening. The Great Western Big Four story is gonna happen at some point. I just can't say when. Phew, that was a long one, wasn't it? Right. Where did I... okay, I lost. Are engines in love like stories of Soda in your headcanon? Yeah. I'm not putting like a big focus on it, but I don't see why not. What are your thoughts on season 6 of the Stories of Sodor? I haven't seen it. I'll have to admit I have not seen it. I have avoided it because I've lost respect for Victor. Which is sad because his stuff was so good back in the day. But season 5 was terrible. Was awful. And yeah, I haven't I haven't had the interest to go watch it. If you like it, great. Whatever. I just don't fancy watching it at the moment. Will Colin be an old man? Okay, no, yeah. No way. Could you make Huron LMS Royal Scott if you want to remake him into a British engine? An interesting idea, but I don't think that would... because in that case, that would make him a completely different character. Like, it would make him a totally new guy that didn't have any of his Japanese heritage that he had before. So, yeah. Interesting idea, but I'm probably not going to go for it. Why was Philip helping Diesel 10 out for taking over Sodor? Because he was an American Diesel. The only American Diesel I had that had a face. So I just needed an American locomotive that had a face. Diesel locomotive. Yeah. How many engines will arrive on Sodor between and after World War II as war aid? I think last time I counted, it was about between 4 and 6 locomotives. You know about most of them, but yeah, you will see at some point when I get to it, but I can't promise when. Here the public relations stunt. True. Like, after World War II, wouldn't it be a little bit crazy if Topham got a Japanese locomotive? Especially because I don't think the Sojourns would have much respect for the Japanese following the stuff they did during World War II. I'm a twin. Yes, I am a twin. Because reasons. Yeah, I have a twin. He is a very different person to me. Not in terms of looks, but in terms of like his interest. He doesn't really care much about trains. But yeah, I do have a twin. Also, one thing I probably should comment about. You might have noticed that the background looks a little bit different than the other videos where I've showed my face. And that's because I've moved room. I've not moved out, I've just moved room. Like, this room was actually once the room for my twin. And but recently another room in the house was made available and he moved up there, so I also got this one in addition to my other one, which is right in there, like on the other side of the wall. And this will become my, well, I want to call it an office, but it's going to just be more like a train room. So over here, where there are boxes, there will be a big model railway, which I'll get around to building at some point. I have to buy assets because when you're from Denmark like me, like Hornby and Bachmann are not really that widespread. In Denmark you have Markland, which is fine, but that's only basically only like German stuff. And I have nothing against the German locomotives. I think they're cool, but I'm more of a British guy when it comes to I like more British locomotives when it comes to model railways. So have to kind of start from scratch. I've bought a few locomotives and some coaches, but I need some track, which I'll buy it at some point. I might do a video about it on the other channel, like me working on it. Do you speak German? No, I suck at speaking German. I got fine grades in the school, but that's because I kind of winged it and used Google Translate a lot. So, if I ever do need to speak German in videos, I'll probably have the aid of Google Translate. Because I cannot freely speak German. Oh, they do. Oh, the railway series do have a Danish translation. Cool. Amazing. I should look for one, though. I don't have any railway series books, like physical, which is really annoying to me because I really want one, but they're kind of hard to get, especially right here. Are you going to kill off any engines? Yes. But not once you know. Do you hate any CGI characters? And also, are there any main antagonists in the Engine Rival and Big Four? Well, to the second question, not like one. You have a few that have that pop up here and there, but not like one central main one. Well, I guess. Well, antagonist. Well, I guess Gordon is one that's like it's kind of like the Railway series. Gordon is the most like the one that goes through the most development. At least that's the one. He has been the one who's going through the most development. Also, if you saw my sort of profile video about Gordon, there's a lot to him in my headcanon. So I guess he would be the one. And for the first question, do you hate any CGI characters? Not really. I don't really like a lot of the newer ones that they make. Like some of the ones that don't really make sense. Like Sonny, he's fine. Philip is annoying, but he's fine. Kenji is a little bit. I like they had a bullet train, but I don't like why he came to Sodor. Dexter's fine. No, I don't really have much against CGI characters. Not like in terms of just the looks and stuff. I do have something against Samson. I think he's the worst CGI character to be introduced. But so he is going to appear in my series as well, but he's going to be a very different character in comparison to the CGI. How many engines were built on Sodor prior to the Northwestern Railway, and how come they weren't there when the Northwestern Railway took over? That is something, like the second part about why they weren't there is something that will be explained in the special that I'm working on. But the first question is, the first part I believe it's around 20 locomotives based on what I've been working on so far. So yeah. Will other countries be involved in the series? Probably. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I have actually planned to do other videos as well, like outside of the UK. I have enough assets to do one in Denmark, and of course I feel like I probably should also venture over to the USA at some point. Partly because there's a lot of Trainz assets for USA, and also because like a third of my audience is from the States, so gotta pay respect to all the people that are watching me. Can I give ideas for the Big Four? Look, people, you can give ideas. I like to be inspired. Just please don't beg to have some specific character that you made be included. First of all, in that case, you need to give more context about who the character is, because you can't just because there have been people that in the past have been saying like, can you please include my character of Nelson or something like that? And I'm like, well, I might, but I need to know who Nelson is and like why he would come to Sodor. But please give ideas. I love reading your ideas, and some of them are really good. And actually, some of them have made it into the videos that I've made. Like Percy's Engine Rival, for example. That was from a fan suggestion. That was from a fan. I was going to do something very different to Percy. With Percy, I've actually forgotten what I was supposed to do with him, but someone commented on the Stanley Engine Rival that I should do that with Percy, what I did with Percy in his Engine Rival, and I thought that was very clever, and yeah. So yeah, that happened. Did you enjoy Toby and the Arcane Merchant? I did. I thought it was very good. Amazing. Applaud to Trainz for killing it again. And yeah, amazing. Probably better than what I could do. Granted, he also has like some musical skills, which definitely help a lot in his case. Is Big Bertha gonna appear in any sort? Yes. Probably in the Big Four. Not on Sodor, but probably in the Big Four. Will Thomas receive a flat running board like in the IWS? No, he won't. He will he will continue having his curved running board. Has Craig Ronan Content Station shut down? I believe it has. I can't find the website anymore. But you also have to consider, people, all this stuff is on the download station if you want it. So it's not like it's lost forever. It's just the website is shut down. Will Richard ever have an appearance in your series? He'll probably appear in the Big 4 video at some point. I don't have any intent of him arriving on Solo yet. Yeah. Who is your favorite narrow gauge engine? I don't know. I have like equally high respect for most of them. I think Duke is probably my favorite one because he's like the one that has the most interesting character and the most interesting story. But like, I think if it wasn't to be Duke, it would be Peter Sam, because I don't know, he's just like that kind of cool, laid back guy that doesn't really get angry or get into trouble and stuff. Yeah, so Duke or Peter Sam. Will the Arlesdale Railway be built on Sodor? Yes, it will. At some point. Like for the Arlesdale Railway, I'm mostly gonna follow the railway series in terms of like what happened. So, yeah. Have I? Will Taylor and Joseph return to Sodor? Yes, but not to the Northwestern Railway. They will return to the Railway Museum, but they will still return and run on Sodor every now and then. Is that the Lego wildflower bouquet in the background? Yes, I think you see it up there. That was a Christmas present from my girlfriend. I love Lego. Like this setup over here, that is Lego. That's sorted Lego, or at least me in the process of sorting all my Lego. This entire setup over here, because I love Lego, and I feel it's very common for a Danish guy to love Lego, because of course I'm from Denmark. But yeah, I love Lego. It's great. Well, you have non-faceless Bergmans like Toad, Brian, and Bradford in your headcanon. I will have Toad, and I will probably also have Brian. Bradford, I don't know. I don't see why not, but I haven't really thought about how he would be included. But yes, I will. What will happen to Jason? He'll survive. He'll be preserved by the National Railway Museum. Isn't that nice? They have a K2 that isn't Edward. He will be the only K2 that's preserved other than Edward, but he'll still be preserved. I have a video of how the Flying Scotsman became the leader of the sides. Probably not on that, because it's pretty like... There's not really much of a story to that. It's just Scotsman was the most popular one, and definitely the one people or engines felt were most up to the task. And yeah, so it was a unanimous decision. Johnny Jash. I've not heard of Johnny Chash. I've heard of Johnny Cash, but not Johnny Chash or Johnny Jash, whatever. Alex, oh, you're talking about the narrow gauge engine that was included in the latest Trainspotting video. Alex, the narrow gauge engine is a freelance design that was built at Crovan's Gate specifically for the Skarloey Railway and specifically for that line to Craig Ronan because they needed a very powerful engine that could run the services. So yeah. Will Edward get an overhaul like after the events of Edward's exploit at some point? Well, the thing is, like, the Edward model that I use is the rebuild one. Like, he has already been rebuilt. Will I do the Edward's exploit story at some point? Yeah. I think I probably should. So, yeah. I will do that at some point. I don't know when, but... What's your favorite Thomas theme? Thomas theme? Ooh, that is a good question. The one I listen to the most? Well, my favorite type of Thomas themes are like the orchestral covers, and of those, that will definitely be the Flying Kipper orchestral cover. But like, who's my favorite theme? I think probably Diesel. Like, if it's just original Thomas stuff, because Diesel is such a like it's so clear. Once you hear that story, like that theme, it's so clear what kind of character he is. So yeah, it's more of like what story can the theme tell that kind of decides what my favorite one is, and that's probably why Diesel is the one I like the most. It's been 35 minutes. Trainz now. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Cool. We'll move to Trainz. Oh no! It has been. Oh, that was the video cam. There we go. Oh, why is it so big? Excuse me, people. I have to finish. I have to make this fit within the screen on OBS. There we go. And as you can see, if we just can fit it within the screen. As you can see, we're at Craig Ronan. Yay! And at the Craig Ronan shipyard and the naval base. Yeah. Yeah. Cool, right? Amazing. We'll make a train spawning on the Normandy branch. I will. Probably more just like the East Sudgeon Railway overall, so that will also include the Great Waterson branch. Yeah. Look, I don't think you people understand how much I've been researching into like the Sudgeon military. Or like investing time into getting the Sudgeon military up and working. It's a lot. It's probably people would probably. My girlfriend has said it's like weird, but also about spending so much time on this. Allow me to show you something that has definitely taken up way too much of my time. Like something I've really spent way too much time on. Look at this. I am currently making a schedule for the Northwestern Railway in my Headcanon. A proper schedule for the trains to follow. And it's a whole day's worth of trains. A whole day's worth. This is the main line. For now, and of course the main line is the most complicated one because they have so many services. But like trying to get it to make sense has been insanely difficult. Because of course I have to figure out how long it takes to run between certain stations. So what I have done is I have a sort of map. I have my own sort of map that I'm working on, and via GeoGebra or GeoGebra, whatever you call it, I've been like figuring out how long there is between the stations, and then I've timed in Trainz how long it takes for a certain engine pulling a regular set to get to that distance. And that's kind of like the time I've been basing it on. So I spend a lot of time on it. But I love it. I love this stuff. I love spending so much time on it. It's great. So, yeah. Nice stuff. Am I right? I've ever been outside Denmark several times. Like just this summer I was in Spain for the European Championship in Rubik's Cubes. Because I participated. And then I was also in Sweden the following week, and then in Norway for another cubing competition. So I have been, and I've also been in other stuff just on like holiday. So yeah, several times outside Denmark. Not that I hate Denmark, but it is sometimes nice to leave your home. Oh yeah, I guess I can show you all my solar map, current work in progress. It's still very much work in progress, this map. I'm like trying to make it all make sense. But it's taking a while. And this is like, the problem is I have a lot of different maps that like have different modern elements, but I need to like combine them together at some point. Yeah. So, route building. Yes. Welcome to Peel Godred. This was the section I wanted to work on today. Because, as you know, Peel Godred will appear. It's actually, I mean, this is actually like the very first version of the Peel Godred station. It will get an update later on, but the one I want to work on the most is the modern one, which is like a terminus station kind of size. You have 4 platforms with like a lot of tunnels running through, and like the city itself is also going to need to be a little bit bigger. Actually, I should probably also say that it will actually, like the station itself will actually have 6 platforms in modern times because Peel Godred will have a light rail that will stop at the station. Now the light rail is something that I'm very excited about. Now, if you'll excuse me for a little second, I will quickly need to open Paint, because in Paint I have this, which is a little bit hard to see because it's not centered correctly. But what I'll do instead, so I'll just move myself over here. So this is my work in progress map of the island of Sodor, with all the railway lines introduced. And up here by Peel Godred, you can see there are some lines leaving. There are some lines leaving the town. Now this is the light rail. So this line, the dark gray one, is the so-called city line, or Peel Godred city line, which is, as it implies, it is just the one that runs between the city. But this one up here is the so-called old tramway line, because, as you probably guessed by now, it runs on the track bed of Toby's old tramway, which is cool in my opinion. And some of you might then ask, has Toby ever been up here afterwards, following the light rail's opening? And the answer is yes, of course he has. He needed to be reunited with his former home. So, yeah. Cool, isn't it? Back to Trainz. So, station. Not quite have like a... But yeah, between Harwich and Craigmere, yes. Exactly. And the other towns that I can't pronounce, or don't dare pronounce. When did I start playing Trainz? Well, I bought Trainz back in 2019, but I couldn't really get it to work with like importing stuff. And yeah, so I just didn't play it. It wasn't until like late 2020 when I finally figured out, oh, you have to create an account and you have to log in, and then I could import stuff, and then I started messing around with it. So I think it was November 2020 when I finally imported my first Thomas model, which was Flying Scotsman, the one from the Soda Workshops. That was the first model I ever imported into Trainz. Why don't I use Trainz 22? Well, I guess you can also ask about Trainz 2019. It's because I like Trainz: A New Era the most. It is the one I also just think it looks the best. It's the one I'm the most satisfied with. I have tried Trainz 2019, and I do have it, but I could never really I could never really get to love it. I could never really be satisfied with it. And of course, me using Trainz: A New Era is really sad because not everyone makes stuff now for Trainz: A New Era. Like Marvel's Mainland Model Works, which is a fantastic site, now basically only makes PBR locomotives, which means I can't use those in the game, which is sad. But I guess it just encourages me to try and get to modeling myself if I want some specific locomotives to appear. Will the light railways have its own engines, and will they have faces and their own stories? Of course they will. They will be characters, their own specific things, entities, trains. But they will. But of course, with the light railway being a very recent addition to the story, like we're talking like in real time, we're talking like a few years ago. So they will appear very much later on, but they will appear at some point. They will appear. Will we get more steam engines that are the last of their classes, like Marcus arrive on Sodor? Excuse me. Yes, we will. We will. Indeed. Because I like doing that stuff. See, can I see any more that would? Because I have a document here that shows all the engines that will arrive. I'm not going to show you it because, of course, that is like a little bit too much spoiler in my opinion. But I mean, in my train spotting video on the Peel Guardwood branch, you saw all the Metropolitan locomotives and Hurricane. There are already some of them. And then you also have Darwin, the London Brighton South Coast Railway K class, and Jackson. You also saw Jackson, the Great Western 3901 class. You have loads that are coming soon. I will appear at some point. Loads. So don't worry. Will I ever do a collabs like Soda Fallout or your own series? Well, I'm not gonna do Soda Fallout. I don't like that. I don't really like that much. I think it's a little bit too much. It's cool. It's a cool story, but I don't think it would make sense within my timeline. Soda's not gonna mess around with nuclear power. No, sir. What inspired me to create the Big Four series? Well, what inspired me to create the Big Four series was... Well, it was more just that I wanted to do a series that wasn't on Sodor, that was that was on the mainland UK, because there are so many stories that will that could be utilized for videos like that, and yeah, I feel like that would be I thought that was I had to take the chance and do that, so that's why I started Big Four, to make videos about those regions and just make stories with that wasn't on Sodor, that still was within the realms of my video style. Actually, one guy that did inspire me was, what was he called? He's the guy who makes the Dark Railway series in Trainz Simulator. What was he called? Yeah, Dark DJ Productions. I think he was actually the one who inspired me the most to make the Big Four videos. So he is a great channel. Should go watch. Will I have any engines by Robert Stevenson and Company appear in your AU? Probably. I mean, Steven will appear at some point. Not on Sodor, but just in the series at some point. Yeah. So, yeah, they will. Right. Let's go to Trainz. So, just looking away from the connection here and the yard, I want to just kind of get an idea about what the station will look like. Can steam engines run on the electrified part of the main line? They can. That was something that was taken into account when the railway was electrified. So yes, engines will be able to. Do you have any regrets about earlier content? Not specifically regrets, just I would like to remake some of the earlier engine rival videos at some point, because of course the production value of those are not quite what I do right now. Like especially the ones where I have narration. Like I don't really want narration in my videos anymore. I mean, back then I was just like heavily inspired by Victor Tanzig. So you can tell I was inspired by Victor Tanzig. One would almost say I copied, but yeah. So I might go back and remake them at some point. I'll keep the originals up just to see like where I started, but yeah, remake them within like the style of the videos I do now. If you had to put a rough number onto the engines that are going to retire, how many would you say are going to do so? Well, the Northwestern 2035 plan that I talked about will mean that most of the steam engines are going to retire. I know it's a very unpopular thing to say, but within the realms of the realism that I go for in my series, I have to be realistic within the real world. Like you could not like in modern structure for politics, you could not get away with a proper steam railway. At least, and definitely not one to such an extent. Like the Northwestern Railway is big. We're talking like at least like about 600 miles of track in my headcanon. So it is not a small enterprise, and that would of course mean that they'll have some problems. Will Reginald have an engine cover for him after the Wellsworth crash? Yes, he will. I don't remember who I said to, but he will. He will have one. Let's see, who did I put? Ah! It'll be Duchess. So there you go. Have I heard about Five Nights at Freddy's? Geez, I'm not that young. Yes, I have. And I have also watched the movie. The FNAF movie. I thought it was great. It was a great movie. I enjoyed it. I've never played FNAF though. Because I was a wuss back in the day. I was scared. I was terrified of it. I saw my friend playing it, and yeah, it didn't really interest me. What will happen to the steam engines after the Northwestern 2035 plan? Well, they're gonna be preserved, of course. Like you have engines with so much history and so much heritage. Like it would be criminal to scrap them. And I think Topham would come under like heavy scrutiny if he did. Or the current controller, which is not Topham, but it is. I don't know what his name is. Is Richard? Will Sarah survive from being scrapped? Yes, she will be the real-life equivalent of the Midland Railway 1000 class that is preserved. So yes, she will be preserved. Does Soda have a railway police force? Not like the one in the stories of Soda with Joey and stuff. In my headcanon, the fire and rescue service basically act as that. So Mickey and Harvey are, in reality, there are also police officers. But on the mainland UK, there will be. And it might include someone. It might include someone you know. I won't say much, but it might include someone. There he is. There he is. It's the man. It's the man himself. The policeman. when the 2035 plan comes into action, will the variants of engines like the Azumas and the new British Railway Class 93s currently be? Yes, something along those lines. I want the locomotives that will work there to be built by the Northwestern Railway, like by Crovansgate Works. But, so like, there will be high-speed units and there will be like powerful electric units. So something like the 93. Actually, if I find it, no, I don't. I had a drawing of it at some point, but I can't find the notebook was in. But yes, there will be locomotives in that like that to take over services. Will I be train spotting on the electrified main line of Pilgard? Yes. At some point, when the line is done, it's not done yet, but it's like I'm working on it. But when it's done, I will do a train spotting session on it. What's my favorite Trainz model? I don't know, because there's so many good ones. But probably the engines that were modeled by Little Engine Productions. And if this should be one of those, it would definitely be this one. Like, this is among the prettiest things I've ever seen in a locomotive. Fuck, it's Spencer, man. And it's a great looking Spencer. It is like seriously pretty. And like just all the locomotives that Little Engine Productions make are unreal. How many episodes do I plan to do for the Big Four? As many as I want. Like, and then I don't have any like set limits because there's so many stories that you can take into account. So yeah. Will the thin clergyman be appearing in the series? Yes, of course. The man in charge of the Scalaway Railway. Will Sean be scrapped? Nope, he will not. How many engines work on the Nornby branch? Well, you have seen most of them. Actually, I can line them up. You did see that. You would have seen them in the LMS video. So here we are. These are like when the sorry, I lost my mind. When the Nornby branch and the Great Waterton branch was incorporated into the Northwestern Railway, these were the engines that were working on it. You have Chuck, you have Ruth, you have Benson, you have Charlie, and you have Maximilian, or Maxi, as people call him. And and later on, when the lines became a little busy, they got more stuff, got more locomotives like Owen and the Pacer twins. So yeah, those are the engines that are working on this. On there at the moment. I did forget one that also worked there. This man, or this guy, Kenneth. He also works. Have I ever been to Hungary? I have. It's a long time ago, but I have been to Hungary, and from what I remember, it was nice. It's a good place. What about the cement work outside of Rolf's Castle? Are you going to include that in your AU? I don't know. I haven't quite gotten to seeing how I could incorporate that into my series. But probably. Is the engine in front of Charlie named Benson? Yes, the London South Western Railway. BT well tank. That is Benson. How many are we live now? 52. Going up a little bit. It's nice. What about Jinty and Pug? They won't come to Sodor. Well, that's actually a lie. Pug will come to Sodor, but Jinty won't. What am I working on? Well, currently, like if you're talking about videos, I am working on the next Sodor profile videos. Yes, I said videos because it's actually a two-parter. It'll be a very boring one to start the new year off, but in relation to the special that I'm doing, it's important. It's about politics, and it's about Sudrian politics in my headcanon. I know. It's gonna be boring, but it's needed, it's necessary. So I'd rather do it now than later. And you know what? After those, I think I will start an engine arrival for the narrow gauge railways. So the series doesn't die out. Will Oliver's escape from the scrap origin be in his arrival? Yes. Of course. I feel like it would be disrespectful if it wasn't. But I'll try to put my own little spin on it. Try to make it as epic as possible. Within my skills. What will be the newest engine bought to the railway pre-1930? Minus IOQ. Well, that is... If I believe I have not changed it. Because I might have included someone new. But I do believe the newest ones are the Pancras Special twins. So that'll be these two. Archer and Torch, the modified Class 68s that run the service between Tidmouth and St. Pancras in London. How many engines are in Sodor in 2025? If you include all railways, like the Skarloey Railway and the Arlesdale Railway and the Coleyfell Railway, we're probably looking at around 120. 120. And I think but that actually excludes the Sudrian Railway Museum, because I don't actually know how many locomotives they have yet. So yeah. Do you go train spotting in real life? Not as much as I want to. I love train spotting. And yeah. I would like to do it more, but I just haven't really been able to get the time for it. What do you think about Australian engines? I like it. I like a lot of their steam locomotives. Like 3801 is undoubtedly stunning, and the Class 36 from the same railway is also quite nice. And the Garretts, you can't exclude the Garretts. The Garretts are like unbelievable, unbelievably cool. So yes, I do like Australian railways and stuff. Who is Riley? Riley is an engine I don't have a model for. Remember when I talked about the Connor commissions? He is also included in that, like his model. I can't say what engine he is. I can't say what engine he is. I just find a picture of it. If I can remember what class it is. Yes, he is a Great Central Railway 9P locomotive. Yeah, that is the class Riley is, or at least the class Riley is going to be once I get the model, and he will be working on the Sudrian Express along with Croven, with Marcus, and with Alfred. Oh, yeah. That'll be interesting, won't it? No, actually, Alfred will be working on the limited. I meant to say Helen. Ooh, spoilers. Since Hank has appeared in the prologue in Engine Rival, will we get an Engine Rival episode? No. Not on Soda. He won't get an episode on Soda. I included Hank in the prologue video because I had no idea where the series would go in terms of like realism, and so he's probably not going to be arriving on Soda in my headcanon, unfortunately. What's Dudley's role going to be in your headcanon? I don't know. Well, actually, I do know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with it. Favorite Thomas story? Well, my favorite story from the Railway series is Gordon Goes Foreign. It's also the one that was the basis of Eric's Engine Arrival video, and my favorite TV episode is Gordon and the Famous Visitor. Yes, it includes a lot of Gordon. What's going to happen to Helen? She's going to be bought by the Northwestern Railway. Simple as. Can I share my idea about Hero's Engine Arrival? Go right ahead. Love to hear it. If you were on an American Heritage Railroad, where would you go? I'll go a lot. I think it would be the Strasbourg. Or yeah, isn't that what's called the Strasbourg? The one that's like well known for the Thomas stuff. That is definitely the one I want to go to the first. But also the Rio Grande Narrow Gauge Railway is also one I would really like to go to. I am actually going to the States in this summer, because I'm going to the World Championships in the Rubik's Cubes. It's going to be in Seattle. I've not planned much of a big holiday out of it, other than just being there for that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. What's your favorite USB type? I hope you meant DSB, the National Operating Railway Company of Denmark, my home country. And my favorite steam locomotive is the R class of steam locomotives in Denmark. I will show you quickly. If Elise wants to... there you go. By the way, you should, if you want to know more about Danish railway stuff... Oh, you meant USB. I don't know, the one that fits in my computers. The regular one. Well, but now we're on the topic of DSB locomotives. My favorite DSB locomotive is the R class. This guy right here. And more specifically, this one. The one that is preserved. Yeah. Hell yeah, to all the stuff. By the way, if you want to know more about Danish history and stuff, you should check this website out. It's called jernbanen.dk. Be prepared. It is in Danish, but it has basically it has basically all stuff you need to know. Yeah. Will Henry have his flying kipper crash in Peter's Engine Arrival episode? Yes, he will. Of course he will. Will James get a Between the Arrival, because I thought you were setting James and the Express in James Engine Arrival? I probably will do one. It would make sense, so yeah. Will we be train spotting on the Howick branch? Look, I will, but the problem is the Howick branch is very small and very inactive in my series. It only has 3 engines working on it, and it's very short. So what I will do is I will have this train spotting session take place on the at Augsburg, so then we can also get action from the Little Western and from the Alsdale Railway to kind of substitute. Other than the Great Western, what railway company in the UK do you want and love to cover in the Big Four series? Well, if we're talking the big in terms of like the big four railways, the Great Western is the only one I'm missing. But if we are talking like other railways, like pre-grouping, I would really love to do one on the Caledonian Railway, because that's one of my favorites. Also, the Northeastern Railway would also be a really nice one for me to cover, that I want to cover. Will 98462 and 87546 be used in your series? Well, I have used 87546. At least I've used the number 87546 in a Jeffries engine arrival. I've not used 98462 in the series. And also, I know someone asked about this earlier. Is Alfred 98462? He is not. 98462 will be a different character. After World War II, the Axis countries had to pay compensation. They also sent raw materials and engines too. Here could be that engine Yeah, I guess that works. At least it makes sense within history. Granted, again, with the narrow gauge stuff would be a little bit odd, but I guess Soda could have do something for the compensation. Yeah. Did Richard Beeching come to Soda? Yes, he did. Who was the first engine built on Soda, like ever in your AU, or just the Firai? It is one you've already seen. It's this guy right here. It's Roger. He was the very first engine built on Sodor. Well, the thing about the Northwestern Railway to CC Cobalt is I would like to use Wilson, because he is one of the few Northwestern Railway locomotives that was missed. He's one of the few Northeastern Railway locomotives I do have. Yeah. Do I like German trains? I like German trains. I think they're very cool because they look so... They're like more rough and robust in terms of like looks. You can see, on most German locomotives, you can see all the moving parts and like pipes and stuff. They're very cool. Are there any preservation railways on Sodor? Heritage railways? Yes, there is. There is actually one on Sodor. The only line that was closed by Richard Beeching during the 1960s is this one right here. The loop. The loop was closed. And, much to the annoyance of Farmer McCall, his headquarters is on this. He protested it heavily, but Beeching was insistent in saying that McCall should switch to road traffic, which McCall very much did not want to. So he ensured that the railway became a heritage railway, so that he could still have a railway connection with his to his stuff. So yeah. Oh, side character. If we're going to like Wilson, yeah, I think that would at least make sense. And at least that would be if I focus on Wilson, which I don't know if I would, but probably, since he's the most developed Northeastern Railway character I have. Do any engines work on that heritage railway? Yes, because the line itself is linked to the Sergeant Railway Museum, so a lot of locomotives work on them. What exactly happened to Connor after he was transferred? Well, he was just transferred back to to London to work express trains out of there because he didn't really work at Barrow. Will any characters die in my series? Yes, but not ones you know about. Not ones you've been introduced to calm your nerves. Anyway, let's get back to this. So, what I'm gonna do now is try and get like just an idea. I'll put the platforms in place and try and work from there to see if we can get something that looks a little bit, you know, proper. Because you have to remember, this is a pretty busy. This is going to be a busy station. It's actually like, in terms of overall passenger numbers, the Peel Goddard station is the second busiest on Soda. Of course, only surpassed by Titmuth. So it's just about making it so it can have the capacity for the amount of trains it has. In your AU, was Barrow Station destroyed like in real life during World War II and later rebuilt? Yes, it was. And I will remember the thing I said in remember the whole idea with William Stanier, like them talking about it being rebuilt. That's that idea. That is Barrow, because they were slow to get around to it. Like they finally kind of started work on it in 1939, but of course they didn't really get that far with it because then World War II broke out. Are Marvel and Mabel working on the Peel Goddard branch post-electrification? They are not. They are working on the main line because they were actually the very first locomotives to run the Peel Goddard special. They were modified so that they could make the trip, and it proved to be very popular. So they got more locomotives. They got more stuff to take care of it. Are you using an iOS route? I'm using. It's basically a large jigsaw puzzle. It's a lot of routes coupled together. Of course, you have the Soda Island 3D iOS map. That's taking up like the bulk of it. Then you also have the hybrid iOS, which makes up the Titmuth and the Little Western. Then you have Soda, what would they call Soda Routes? They have the Allsdale Railway. And the Soda Railroading Builders, which I'm pretty sure not a lot of you know about. They made the Peel Goddard branch. And of course, Cogronan, this was done by Ravenshire Works, Ravenshire Works, and the Sudrian Community, I believe these were called, for the Cogronan. My favorite TVS character. Well, my favorite TVS character is Hero. Hero or Murdoch. Either one of the two. RWS character is... at least the one I like the most is the Foreign engine from Gordon Goes Foreign. But if we're talking like main RWS character or Railway Series characters, we're talking. Who would it be though? Probably Gordon, because his story is the most dense. But I like all of them really. Do you have any thoughts on the Southern Railway in terms of locomotives and well-known people in the company? I love the Southern Railway. Like I have a lot of I like how much they stand out from the other big four, with them being mostly focused on passenger trains. And kind of like being very obsessed with that. I like Oliver Bullitt for his ambitions, not necessarily for his products, but for his ambitions. Like you can't deny the man. You can't deny the fact that the man had ambitions. Some of them didn't really work, but it was new technology, so I guess I'd say it's fair enough. Like it's okay. Will include any Great Western tender engines on the Little Western? No, I will not. I will, however, include a Great Western locomotive on the main line. A Great Western tender locomotive on the main line. Will Thomas have a brother / sister in the series, and she worked with him on his branch? Well, none of Thomas' siblings will work on Sodor, but he will of course have had siblings back on the London Brighton South Coast Railway when he was still working there. Well, with his rebuild, it would more be like cousins, but still, siblings, I guess you could say. What's your favorite railway out of the big four? Definitely the LMS. I think the LMS is the most, like, it's the most infamous one, and it's also the one that has like that has been through the most. Like they've really been all over the place, the LMS. So yeah, definitely the LMS. The Great Western Locomotive in question is not one I want to introduce right now. It is one I will talk about later. It's one that will appear later on. How many engines were bought from BR during the 60s? A handful. Quite a few actually. Most of them were diesels. But we're talking like about 10 perhaps in total, like with most of them being diesels. But yeah, a few. Will the 15 Guinea Special, the last steam train ride in the UK in 1968, be mentioned in the series? Yes, it will. The Sergeants will pay homage to that. They won't be affected by it because by then the Sergeant Railway will actually be privately owned by the Sergeant government. A state-owned railway, one would say. So they will not. They will be by then. They will be out of the wrath. They will be safe from the wrath of British Railways. Does the North Western Railway have a numbering system? Not right now, as some of you might have noticed. They do not have that right now. I will probably have to think of one at some point, but so far, as long as I don't pay any attention to it, as I think is fine. Toby's number 7. But why did Toby, as the number 7 locomotive, arrive as the first one? Wouldn't he then have to be the number 1? Is something that a few people have commented on, and I understand the confusion, but I haven't really thought much about a numbering system yet. Dude, but it makes no sense. You have to consider it. I am considering it. No worries. Right. See, hopefully this lines up. Yeah, looks good. Will the events of Duck and Diesel happen? Yeah. Why did Carlin introduce the 5th rule of the linear engine? Because he was an egotistical maniac that just wanted to put his name in place. Imagine like Roman Empire or Roman consuls back before Rome became an empire. Like consuls, they had to like do something radical to make sure they were remembered in history. And Carlin kind of had that same thought process, so that's why he introduced the 5th rule, to make sure he was remembered. But in his case, he would end up not being remembered for a good reason. Yeah, because the 5th rule was terrible. What's your favorite locomotive? That is a Danish steam locomotive, the so-called R-class of 460 steam locomotives. Of the prior Big Four railways, which are your favorite? Say my turn. Okay, well, my very favorite one is the Caledonian Railway. My second favorite one is probably the Great Central, and my third favorite is the what is that? The one I researched the most. Probably the London, Brighton, and South Coast Railway. What line am I working on right now? This is the Peel Godred line. I am working on the post-electrified station they'll get, which is like a proper terminus station for the like large amount of services the line will see. So like they'll have the capacity for it. Will Henry ever take a train to the LNER, be it goods or passenger? Henry will I mean, I haven't planned it yet, but I don't see why not. Henry would probably travel to the LNER at some point. Is Arthur going to work on the Northby branch after the electrification? No, Arthur is going to work on the Hawick branch. The fishing line branch. It's like in the series. So, yeah. Oh damn, been going for an hour, almost an hour and a half right now. Damn, time flies when you're yapping. And I've not done much on this station build. My favorite British locomotive. That is the LNER V4 Mogul. That no, not Mogul, Prairie. That the last locomotive designed by Sir Nigel Gresley. Yeah, that's my favorite British steam locomotive type, and it's so nice that the A1 Trust is planning to build one, because I'd really want to see one of those at some point. My favorite Thomas and Friends film. Oh, like specials and stuff. Well, the one I have the most fond memories of watching is Blue Mountain Mystery, because that's the only one I have with Danish narration on DVD. But also. Calling All Engines is something I have fond memories of watching. I wouldn't say it's good, but just for like the nostalgia, it's one of my favorites. If I did an episode on the Southern Railway, would I cover certain events or the Southern Railway in the 1930s, either prior or past the Act? I would probably... For like the first episode about the Southern Railway, I'll probably cover Oliver Bulleid and like his contributions to the railway. So, because I thought that would be like a good way to start. It's my favorite American locomotive. Good question. Probably the Pennsylvania Railway Q2. Duplex locomotive. At least that's one of them. I don't actually have like a distinct favorite, but that is like one of the ones I tend to like think about the most. Right. Of course, now we're gonna need a station building. Oh. Hey, look at this. What is this beauty right here? Well, that beauty is down at Kirkronan, at the Naval Harbor. What's this fella? Who's this fella? Is that an aircraft carrier? It is. And it's a Sojourn aircraft carrier. Funny. Anyway, station building. Yeah, a good one. A good big one. Oh, that's the ironworks. Well, I know the Q2s weren't good in service. I just think they were really cool. Like, the E2s weren't good in service either, so... I'm not going fully on the logic of were they good in service. I just like which one do I think is the coolest. And you can't deny the fact that it is like among the most powerful steam locomotives ever built, which makes it like even more cool in my opinion. And let's see, is there a good building for like a good proper big station building? Do Arry and Bird work at the ironworks? They do. They do. They do indeed. Like very, very mysterious characters. Will Bill and Ben be in the engine revival? Not in the series, because even present day they are not owned by the Northwestern Railway, and that is the rule that engine revival follows. It talks about locomotives that were bought by the Northwestern Railway, which is why Neil, Clive, and Matthew and Lenny didn't get any. It didn't get any locomotives until Toby. That's why Neil, Clive, and Matthew didn't get an episode. So, yeah. Do you like 080s? I do like 080s. I especially love the G2s by the London and North Western Railway. I think they're very interesting to look at. Also like the 280s they built. Does Barry exist in your series? He does. He's right here. There he is. And yes, he's not a tank engine. He is a he is a tender engine indeed. Yeah. What's your favorite tank engine on the island of Soda? Probably Gary, because his character is so funny, in my opinion. What characters from the show do you not want in your series / headcanon? Well, there are some that well, I think I could work most of them into the canon. Like, I change characters a lot. Like even some of the bad ones like Billy or Ryan, I could still work in. Ryan would definitely be a bit of a stretch because it like had to be kind of, you know, widespread for him, an American engine, to come to Sodor, or at least like have relations to Sodor. Will Barry be converted to oil? Nope, he will not. I think that idea introduced in Stories of Sodor is very stupid and doesn't really make sense. So no, coal-fired and coal-fired all the way. Yeah. How did the engines feel when the main show they were based off came out? Well, I mean, they felt good about it. You have to, they started off with the first 7 seasons, which were, you know, phenomenal. The Magic Railway movie, they were a little bit on edge about because, you know, magic, the element of magic, which is so far from Thomas. But other than that, like, they felt pretty good about it. Will engines be repainted in black during World War II? Well, in my series, like, it would make sense for them to, but in my case, I don't think I can paint all of them black because, you know, there are some reskin policies that I have to follow. Like the main ones probably would, but there are also some that I just simply can't reskin. Does Rosie exist in your series? She does. She is the dog shunter at Titmuth in present day. So she is very much active and still very much part of Soda. You enjoy the clicking noises. Well, that's just my mouse and the keyboard because my microphone is a little bit close to it. I don't know how I would put it so like it's out of frame while still being like able to pick up my voice. Is this okay? This might be a little bit further away from the mouse and the keyboard. Will Lady be in your series? She is in the canon, the Between the Arrival, but she is not. She hasn't appeared in the Engine Rival yet. Nope, that's actually not true. She did appear in Gary's video, so she is in my series. How did Lady react to a major role in the movie? Well, she was very, very confused about it. Like, she was very puzzled about why her. Yeah. Will Molly or Origin should help out on Thomas's line if Thomas Percy falls ill? Not like any mainline engines. You could there could be transfers from other branches to take it up, to take care of it. Are there going to be ghost trains in Sodor? Probably. I was considering doing one as like a Halloween special, but I couldn't really get it done in time. But probably. You like the Baltics from the Furnace Railway? I love the Baltics from the Furnace Railway. I think they're very, very interesting. Do you wish that Waldner Wester could make some of his private models public, like his Rosie model or Diesel 10 model? Well, he is allowed to do whatever he wants with his models. I'm perfectly satisfied with the stuff he has put out, but you know, can always wish for more. But I'm not. But we shouldn't beg him because at the end of the day, it's his models and it's his choice. What's my favorite OC? Well, I've stated in the past that it's Tyler, because he is like such a he seems so natural in the series to me. But I also really like Wilson because his personality is very different and odd from all the others that I've made. So yeah. What's my favorite engine arrival episode that I've made? Well, I think the best one, like I stated before, is Eric's. I think the most important one, as I've also stated in the past, is Gordon's. But my favorite one is probably Marcus. Marcus or Gary's video. Now Marcus or Wilson's engine arrivals are probably like my favorites. Well, I finished my engine arrival series. At some point we'll catch up to modern times. Yeah. Can you recommend an engine for me to draw? I could recommend a lot. Try the Midland Railway 990 class. Just a random one I thought of. But yeah, try that one. Now the question is, how I probably should move myself back though. So that oh. I thought I'd pick that one as well. There you go. Besides the 2035, how are you going to tackle the series that's after the current year 2025? We'll see what happens. I'll work on the modern stuff as the new year's happening, like thinking of what I could introduce. Yeah. Have engines ever seen fan-made content like Stories of Soda or Engines of Soda? I think some of them have, but you have to consider like that's a little bit more of just the driver showing something. Like the TV series would be just shown to them via TV, which is, a little bit more accessible than like YouTube. What's my favorite toy range? Thomas toy range. Well, the one I have the most nostalgia for is Wooden Railway, and I definitely love Wooden Railway the most. It's also the stuff I have the most, like acid stuff. Like I still have all my toys from the Wooden Railway back in the day, and I ain't letting go of them because they're so nice and remind me of a time where I was a happy little kid without the problems in the world. What are you doing in Trainz? Well, right now I am working on the terminus station at Peel Gotchard. And what version am I using? I am using Trainz a New Era. An elder version by this point. Is a locomotive from Denmark going to be an engine arrival? Probably not, because that would be a little bit of a stretch getting one there. I guess you could have like an IC3 come there on trial to test for fun. I do have one that I can give as context. Yeah, this guy, the one that I used in my video. That could work, couldn't it? How many other engines have arrived on Solar? A few. If you're counting Max, it's 4 right now. It's Merlin, it's Thomas, it's Gary, and well, it's Max. Who inspired you to make Trainz content? Well, that was Victor Tanzig and Waldner Wester, because they are like the biggest ones that, at least they were back when I started, among the biggest that made stuff in Trainz. It was probably mostly Victor Tanzig, as you could tell by my early videos, because that was like what they were most inspired by. But I gained a lot of respect for Waldner Wester's way of doing things, because his were so simple. Like they were like music, like there were a lot of quiet moments, but it didn't feel boring at all. So yeah. Anyway, by the way, for the Peel Guarded Terminus Station, do you all feel I should have like a canopy or just like singular canopies per the platform? Toby. Well, IC3's run to Germany. They did run to Germany before being replaced by the new new Vectrons, but that was the DSB's international service between Copenhagen and Hamburg. So they did run to Germany. They don't do anymore, or at least like they might do every now and then, but not unlike the regular. In my AU, is Toby older than he is in the canon? He is, because of course him being, yeah, as you say, if he's 1 year older than Thomas, he seems very wise. Toby was built in the 1870s for the Harwich Tramway, or the Harwich Railway as it was back. Not the Harwich Tramway, that was what it was called. And he is not a J70. He's not, he is like, he's what the Ipswich Railway was inspired by, but he is a very different one. He was one that was specifically built for the Harwich Tramway. Thoughts and stories of Soda season 5 and season 6. Season 5 is not good. I guess it's the worst stuff he's ever done, in my opinion. I felt his SCPs were a little bit like they were confusing in my opinion, but like season 5 was straight up just bad. And in terms of for season 6, I have not watched it, and I'm probably not going to for the time being, because I lost interest in the series, in his stuff after season 5. Also after he made a comment about autistic people, comparing it to cancer, which was way too far in my opinion. So yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way in terms of my respect towards him, which is sad because his stuff was so good back in the day. I even had him in one of my videos do a voice line. It's not a small one, but yeah. Also, he kind of helped my channel get a little bit more traction because he gave me a shout out for one of my shorts. He even remade that one in his in one of his shorts. So just okay, singular canopies. I'll try. We'll try. We'll try just a singular canopy. I don't know if it should be a modern one. What the hell is this? Oh, there it is. Should we do an old style one or maybe a newer style one? I don't like this. Too boring. Too small. I like that. But it's butted. I do not like that it's butted. Yeah, there we go. Something kind of like this. I just need a way to. Is there no like end to it? Oh, there is. Great. Great. Just do one of these, one of them. If you want to connect, please connect. I'll have to be annoying, don't it? The heck? Give me canopy. Well, this is annoying. Well, I guess I'll just have to line up. What the thing that made you make your headcanon? Well, the thing that inspired me to make my headcanon was just the television series, and like some of the empty plots they made, because like that stuff kind of helped me develop my passion for storytelling. And after watching some, you know, Victor Tansic and all the people who had their own take on the source material, I thought that was super cool, and I wanted to try that, so I did. I tried mine, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's going pretty good. Do you think it's going good? My headcanon? A bit awkward that it doesn't want to like snap on. We can just do like that. Yeah. What's your opinion on Engines of Soda by Thomas 1, Edward 2, and Henry 3? Great. I love his stuff. His stuff is absolutely fabulous. And he's actually like one of the first Trainz YouTubers I watched back in the day. And I thought his stuff was really good. It still is, you know. It's like it's OG by this point, which is, you know, amazing. And I have a lot of respect for him, even though he's not really doing much Trainz content anymore. I still have like a large amount of respect for him. So yeah. Oh, my series is better than Stories of Sodor. Well, thank you. That's that's nice. That's kind of y'all. It's very kind. Did your AU have, or did Sodor have car ferries and monorails? They did before, and like the monorails they kind of stopped after the Jubilee Bridge was built, but the ferries they still run ferries mostly to the Isle of Man, but they also run some to like a few parts of the UK as well. Thoughts on Soda's short stories? If you're talking about Victor's shorts, like back when they weren't like a part of his main job, or like they had to be uploaded at like certain intervals, I thought it was great because you got a little bit dose of creativity every now and then, and but once he started like doing YouTube full time, they became less funny and just more like filler. Like aren't really that funny anymore. They're fast paced and kind of snappy, but like the humor is not really there. So yeah, sad. And my shorts, I think my shorts were good. I like them. No spamming, Celtic. What's my favorite Trainz content that's not Thomas related? Probably the East Coast Railway routes that like followed in when I bought Trainz. But yeah, because it's a full map of the East Coast main line, and it is massive. And it's the one it's the route I used in the Big 4 LNER video, and yeah. It's very good for the size. Like detail is really nice. Does Thomas miss some of his LBSR friends besides Star Wars sometimes? Of course he does. I think a lot of the engines do. Like Gordon misses some of his LNER siblings. Henry might miss some of them as well. You know. You miss people when you don't see them that much, so of course they will. Where did the original pure guarded engines go after being electrified? They went a few places. Like Arthur went to the Howick branch. Robert went to the Kirk Ronan branch. Hurricane became a mainline engine. He actually became the farm engine after Eric wanted to pull some passenger train. After Eric wanted to just work as a mixed traffic engine. What else? Darcy, she went to the... where did she go? She went to the where did she go? She went to the Great Water. She went to the East Sutton Railway branch, and Marble and Mabel, as I said previously, they became the first engines to run the Pancras Special on the main line between Sidmouth and St. Pancras. And Lewis, the 444, he went to the airport branch that Max runs, and he mostly handles the passenger trains now. And am I missing anyone? I definitely am. Sheffield, of course, Sheffield. Well, Sheffield, he started working at Barrow as the main shunter, and who else am I? Samson. Yes, Samson also worked on the Peel Godward branch when it first opened, and he ended up working on the. Well, he kind of stayed as the shunter on the Kirk Ronan branch at Kildane till they gained an electric shunter, and then he kind of he went to the woodworks at Henry's Forest, where he works as their main engine. Yeah. Did you see Tobias and the Arcane Merchant? I did, and I thought it was very, very good. It's amazing. We'll go and hear about Scotsman's USA tour. Of course he will. You know, it's his closest brother and like his best friend. And as I said in the what's it called, the Soda profile, he was not very he became a very worried guy once he figured out that Scotsman was kind of abandoned in the USA. But they reunited, and it was very touching, heartwarming. I don't like the fact it's crooked. It's because these splines do not want to snap together. It's irritating. I guess that kind of works. You can't really see it. Yeah. Oh, you can. It's crooked. Be in the center. Play it, please. And you. The center. And you. Be in the center. I do not like. I have to finger something else. Okay. Did Ballawhale, the town near Ballyhoo Tunnel, ever connect to the railway in your AU? I think you answered this already, just want to make sure. Ballawhale, or Ballaswine I think it's called in my series, is this one right here. Oh, Balladrim. It's Balladrin. It's the same one. It is stationed on the main line, and it mostly connects to the transfer yard that the Skarloey Railway connects to export a lot of their stuff. Will Stepney or City of Truro visit Sodor? They will. Thomas will be reunited with one of his London and his LBSR friends. After Henry's Kipper crash, will he become a Black 4 or a C11 or full C1? Henry will become like that Black 5 hybrid that he's mostly described as. Like, he is, in essence, he's a Black 5, but he does have some alterations to make him more compatible for goods work, like bigger cylinders and smaller driving wheels. Is there season 7 of Stories of Sodor? If so, I don't know what to think about it, because I have not watched that one either. Thoughts on Stories of Sodor as a whole? It's mixed now, but it peaked for me in season 3, The Stories of Sodor. And like, the last good season he made, in my opinion, was season 4 part 1, because season 4 part 2 was a little bit, for me, it felt a little bit rushed. Season 5 was very rushed, in my opinion. It felt way too rushed. And season 7, or season 6, I do not know. I have not watched it. So, season 1, 2, and 3, and 4 part 1 were good. And then season 4 part 2 and 5 and 6 are not good. So yeah. Sad stuff, because I really like that stuff. That's that series back in the day. So they're independent in your headcanon. It is. It is an independent nation, I imagine what you mean. But they are. They are indeed. Did you take inspiration from other series like Sword of the Modern Years? I did take inspiration from Sword of the Modern Years, because I love Wild and Western stuff. I did also take a bit of inspiration from T1, E2, and H3, or Thomas 1, yeah, you know. And yeah, I think it's a. I was inspired by him. I was mostly inspired by Victor, but I was also heavily inspired by him and Wild and Western. Have you watched Northwestern Railway 1991? I have. His stuff is also pretty good. Like, there are a lot of good good Trainz creators out there that I have a lot of respect towards, and he is definitely one I also really like. Like, I have especially his like headcanon videos, or like his Northwestern Tales timelines were amazing, because they were so densely packed with history, and that's actually also something that I was inspired by. Like, I loved it. I thought it was amazing stuff, absolutely amazing. Are there any tips you would give to someone if they're making a headcanon/AU? If you want to make your own headcanon, first of all, think about what type of headcanon you want. Like in my case, do you want one that's like based on history, or do you just want one that's like more based on the Thomas stuff? And second of all, just do what you want. You should allow yourself to be inspired by others, but you should not allow yourself to copy others. If you do want to copy others, make sure it's like you put your own little spin on it. So, yeah, I guess in essence what I'm saying is make it unique, make it worthwhile watching. So it's not basically you watching another one, like from another one's. Who's the best engine? Who is the best engine? Charlie. Let's say Charlie. Top hat prop. I did see that. Top hat prop being found. I did see that. That's cool. Cause, the top hat prop is like legendary. It's like one of the best props of the best props of the whole series, at least in the beginning, in my opinion. What's your most nostalgic Thomas fan series / project on YouTube? Ooh, Mad Bomber is a very good one. I remember watching that. I think that's one of the first Thomas videos I ever watched on YouTube. And that's like, yeah, that's really good, Mad Bomber. I think I did watch Northwestern 1991 back in the day. I'm thinking of one that I probably Diesel D199. I think his Tommy series is the one I'm the most nostalgic for. Because those I watched a hefty amount of back in the day. And they were like really good. And we are talking before he went to CGI, like when he had his physical models. Like that was good stuff. Well, CC Kobo, you're welcome. It's nice to see people get inspired by my stuff. It's rewarding, I guess, because that is one of the main goals I had with this series, was just to inspire people. Think of trampy movies. I think they're funny. They're nice. I don't watch them as much, but they're good. Will Trisha and Alice arrive on Sodor? They will not. They will still stay on the Linear. Why was Philip helping out Diesel 10 for taking over Sodor? Because he was an American locomotive and I needed an American locomotive for the short. No real other reason for it. It's just he was American. And a well-known American locomotive at that. At least in the Thomas series. God, it's irritating. This doesn't want to line up. It's because it has to be on the other end. The other side. What if I try to do it on the other side? Just trying to make it line up. Of course, this one also has to be lined up in the middle. Oh, here it lines up. That's nice. Favorite Norfolk Railway line and why? Well, that's probably the main line because there's so much stuff to it. Like, there's so many places, so many locomotives, so many, you know, things to admire and research and stuff. If we're talking like branch lines, as I've said before, my favorite branch is the Kirk Ronan branch. So I guess that's yeah, that's my favorite one. Oh, the names of the drivers and firemen are I just come up with them on the spot. They're not like directly referenced in the AU. They probably will, like because like I have a document where I've like contained most of the stuff I have like put down as facts. But the names of the drivers and firemen, they're just some I come up with on the spot. They're not really that much thought put into them. Yeah. How will scrap be handled in your series? Will burn alive? I'm tempted to use the whole black water, green water thing that Victoria has because I think it's at least the least morbid one. So, yeah, I guess that would work. Biggest engine on Sodor? That's probably Duchess, like just in overall size. I'm pretty sure it's probably Duchess. Who is the biggest one? Yeah. Because like the Duchesses are massive in real life. Like they were huge. So yeah. It's nice. They're very pretty locomotives. They also can rust over time kill an engine. Maybe not kill, but like handicap an engine. Like say rust killed, like I would say rust would be like you lose an arm or a leg or something. How many Great Western engines are there on Sodor? If Ryder does, Ryder's does not arrive on Sodor. He is Ryder is the only Great Western what I call deemed goods locomotives that are preserved, and but there are a few Great Western locomotives on the railway. Mostly on the Little Western, of course, but Percy's also a Great Western engine, and yeah, there are a few. There are quite a few. Well, Oliver, yes. For Oliver, it will be basically the same as in the Railway series. Like, it will be the same idea for his story. So, yeah. Did you ever think about putting the Tidmouth Nap and Elspeth Railway in your EU? Ooh, that goes back to a question of like regrets. Yes, I do regret not putting that in the headcanon because that would have, I guess, made it makes a little bit more sense because there would have been more railways to the east apart from the Harwich tramway. So yeah, I do kind of regret not putting that in. So I did just kind of have to work around it. That Yeah. Do engines have smoke boxes that can be opened? Nope. All non-faceless locomotives have self-emptying ash pans and smoke boxes, so they don't need to be cleaned. Yeah. What do you think of custom modelers? Do you partake as well? If you're talking like Trainz modelers, I want to partake more. I have only done a little bit of work myself, but if you're talking like real like wooden railway modelers and stuff, yes, I have actually done a bit in the past. Like I hope some of you saw the post I did about my 2 stations that I was building, the Vickerstown and the Knapford one. I've also made some locomotives, and I've 3D printed locomotives as well, because I have a 3D printer, and I've made some wooden railway locomotives for that as well, which I think is really cool. Did Ben the Highland Railway coming 4-4 class got scrapped? If so, did Tyler hear about it? He did get scrapped. Ooh, he did. And Tyler was not really that affected by it. So, yeah, there you go, because Ben was a dick. Will Douglas save Oliver from scrap? Well, it will be Douglas. It'll be basically just like the Railway series. Just like it. But I have to work my way around the whole Douglas almost being scrapped thing, because he wasn't really. He just wanted to get away from Jonathan Solly. Who's your favorite custom maker? Rio. Ooh, a lot of good ones out there. I think is he called Geo? The guy who's blown up recently for his model railway stuff. His stuff for like his model railway modifications. His stuff is fantastic, absolutely amazing. Did you think Victor's humor is wrong or bad? Or do you think he's allowed to make jokes he wants? Well, saying people are allowed to make the jokes they want is risky because, might be a little bit offensive at sometimes. He did make that one joke about comparing autism to cancer, which I don't know. I don't even know if it was a joke. It was just a comparison. I think that was a little bit too far. A lot of the humor in the older videos, like his older shorts, were good, but a lot of the humor in his new just feels kind of forced and, repetitive, I guess you could say. Like, it's a lot of the same stuff, but yeah, it's the thing. Victor can do whatever the flip he wants. I just don't really follow him anymore. Which is sad, because I'd really like to, but I don't like his stuff anymore. Yeah, Geo, that's what he was called. Oh, the Jonathan Sonny managing both Tyler and Donald Douglas' section? Yeah, just think about it. Mysterious, a man, wasn't he? I'll probably do a video on his story as well at some point. Have I seen Unlucky Tug's videos? Have I seen the Unlucky Tug's videos? He's like my favorite Thomas creator at the moment. His stuff is amazing. Will Dudley the Vagrant engine, will he be introduced? He won't be bought by Sodor. He won't become part of the Northwestern Railway. But he will visit Sodor at some point. Just saying. When the next Century will be coming out? I don't know. When it's done. I can't give a date on it. Now stop asking. I've already answered earlier today. Should have a walk bridge though. What's this? Oh, country. What's my favorite place on Sodor? I mean, I love me some industrial stuff, so it'll probably be Tidmouth, like some industrial hardware stuff. Also because Tidmouth is the most, like, the biggest railway place, like at least in terms of like overall track covered, or just area covered. This is like the biggest railway setup on the island. So, yeah. It's it'll probably be, if I was to spend the day at some place, it'll probably be right here. Also because there's just so much train action going on. So yeah. Will I ever hire voice actors, or will I continue to voice all my characters? Well, for the moment, I'm gonna be continuing voicing all my characters, but all the female voice characters will be voiced by someone else in the future. Who is that? It's my girlfriend, because it's easy to it's easier to work with that. Was Gordon's opinion on Edwin Thompson of the Elimar CME? What was, well, I guess, what was Gordon's opinion on Edward Thompson? Well, I think Gordon was a little bit less rude to Thompson than a lot of other people were, because I think Gordon was more understanding of the circumstances that he worked in. Because you have to consider Edward Thompson had to make do with, first of all, the stuff he had, and second of all, it was during World War II, so it's not necessarily easy for him to like work with, to like get new stuff on the line. So yeah. Does the Sodor Navy have Type 45 destroyers? They do not have destroyers. They have one cruiser, which is this one, HMSS Croven. And then they mostly just use frigates as well. So this is one of them. This is HMSS Kildane, and then this one is HMSS Vickerstown. By the way, yes, HMSS is the designation for the Sojourn naval vessels at play on the HMS by the Royal Navy and the HMAS by the Australian Navy. What's your opinion on the Erdl range? Well, I never got to play with the Erdl range. I've never seen it, but I've heard it's good, so I have nothing against it. Same with Tomica, TND. I never got Tomica or I did have Taken Play. I think Taken Play was fine. I'm mostly a Wooden Railway guy, but when it comes to like Thomas merch, that is my favorite. Yeah. Did the engines on Sodor fill when BO was going to ban Steam? Well, they didn't like it, and I guess that they also kind of pressured Topham to try and do something about it. Granted, Topham couldn't really do much about it because, of course, it was out of his control. But they did get their chance when the Sojourn government basically bought the Northwestern Railway from British Railways. Who do you think is the best Big Four manager? I don't know necessarily about managers. If you mean like CMEs or Chief Mechanical Engineers, it'll probably be Stania. He's the one yeah, it's just Stania. Were any places that sort of bombed during World War II? Yes. Yes, there was. A lot of the cultural places, so Croven Skate was targeted, Walsworth was targeted, Tidmouth was of course targeted, and Brendam was targeted as well. Peel Godfrey was also targeted. So yeah, bomb damage. They didn't suffer that much because they were very clever about placing their defenses in highly like cultural and important places. Gordon's relationship with Gresley was fine. I mean, yeah, I think I'd say their relationship was very good. And of course, Gordon was a very sad man with Gresley when Gresley died, because of course it was, I guess you could call Gresley his father. His father. Gordon's very own father. Sir Nigel Gresley. So it was a sad day for him when Gresley passed away. Yeah. Sad times, am I right? Yeah. Will Diesel and Rosie be good friends with the pair of them working at the Titmuth together? Maybe friends is a little bit of a stretch. Colleagues, you should probably say. They can tolerate each other, but they are very different. And one might think that wouldn't really work for their role working together, but it actually does, because it means they kind of compete with each other, which ensures a lot of good results. Any suggestions on how to improve the stories of Sodor? Well, I think for Victor, a lot of his new ideas that he introduced were very radical and perhaps a little bit extreme and abstract. Especially the diesel conversion thing for steam engines was perhaps a little bit too abstract. I guess if you take into consideration of my EU, just try and make it a little bit more realistic, because I don't think the diesel conversion would be very smart nor efficient. Also, just, try things out and see if they work. I guess that's what I would say to Victor. It's your favorite episode of Thomas and Friends. That is Gordon Goes Foreign from season 3. How did Neil, Clive, and Matthew felt when they saw Whiff? They were happy. They were old colleagues from the Southern Mainland Railway. So of course they were happy. Happy chaps. Right. I think we've been streaming for almost 2.5 hours now. I think I'll put the canopy up, and then we'll probably about time to call it quits. I haven't really worked that much on the route building today, because questions. But I think it's been fun. I think I will do a route building streaming session at some point, just to kind of get more work on this done. But because I like it, we'll let it go for we'll go for a little bit more, and then at some point I'll have to get going, because I have other places to be. You saw Nazuma in the train spotting video. Well, that's because they tried a Nazuma on the train spotting video. Or at least, the Northwestern Railway tried a Nazuma to kind of test the idea of, introducing more modern rolling stock to the main line. While they liked it, they're not going to get a Zuma specifically for the Northwestern Railway, but they are going to get high-speed electric units, electric locomotives. Which is cool. What do you think of Victor killing Peter? Oh, the killing spree of season 5 was so unnecessary. So unnecessary. Especially Mickey's death was so unnecessary. And the deaths were handled so poorly. Like Mickey, for example, such an iconic and well-respected character within a series, blown up and moved on. No grieving, no mourning, nothing. Just in the moment. And same with Peter. Like he was killed off way too fast. And Jeffrey as well. Just, unnecessary deaths. And oh, and Thomas, of course. I keep saying to myself and to a lot of other people, there's an unwritten rule within the Thomas universe that you do not kill Thomas. Simple as. And he did. He did kill Thomas. At least in season 5 he did. So there you go. Ruined. I think that was the part where I just lost everything. Every ounce of respect I had left for him. That was when he killed Thomas. I think I raged when that happened. Like legitimately just like yelled at the screen. It was not nice. Croven's Gate. If you're talking about the town has been around for hundreds of years. If you're talking about the station, that came about during the Southern Mainland days. And of course the works came about also during the Southern Mainland days. Will it be in the multiple units? There will be a lot. There will be some electric multiple units on the Peel Godward branch, and there will be some. There will be some that will also work an airport service from the new Sojourn Airport of just outside Kilstorp Road, which is built later, in like the late 50s, early 60s. But yeah, there will be. You also get Evan and Edwin. They will work on the Great Waterton branch, or the East Sojourn Railway, I guess. Oh, the workshop. Yeah. Yeah, that was built during the sort of mainland days. It came on later, like a little bit after the railway was built, was opened. So yeah. How did the engines feel after the Wellsworth crash? Mortified, scared, and sad. You know, Reginald was knocked out in the crash, so people were worried about his health. Well, people were just worried about him. He survived, but you know, if it could have turned out differently. Is there any in your series? Will there be a new branch line constructed to act as heritage line for this? I think I already talked about the loop line, which will become a heritage railway. It will be expanded at some point to give more line for the trains to run on. It'll kind of go more north, like north from Tidmouth. Kind of following the Farquhar branch a little bit. Yeah. Does the Mid-Soda exist in my series? It did. It did exist in my series. And then of course it was replaced by the Ulster Railway. Will Soda become an independent country? It will. It will in 1997. That's when it became independent. Will Soda expand to Scotland? No. It'll just be Soda. Well said, Storm. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and good luck to you as well. The Peel Godward line is going to become high-speed railway. We'll get a connection to the mainland via somewhere like Carlisle, Cardiff, or Manchester. It will run high-speed services to Barrow, because of course like lines beyond Barrow are not electrified, so it'll only run to Barrow. It's more like a high accelerating high-speed line, because of course it's not necessarily that long. And so yeah, it'll run to Barrow, but of course, like it'll run at 155 miles an hour to Kildane, and then at 125 to Barrow. Just trying to get this to match. We'll see if I can probably find a better canopy for this at some point. But now we're just kind of trying to get the idea of, trying to get an idea of how it will look. Kind of like that. It's pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Let's see. It's not bad. It's not bad. I like Sean in there. I like it. I like it. Would a solar subway or underground will work on the island of solar? Probably not. Like, I don't think a city like Titmuth would need an underground railway, because it's a big town, but like in my headcanon it has a population number of about 125,000 people. But even so, I don't think it would need an underground. It'll have a trolleybus, like extensive trolleybus network, and Pilgardwich, which also has a population of about 100,000 people. It'll have a light rail that will kind of act as a mass transport, rapid transport. Freight to peel after 2035? Of course, they will be. They will mostly run like container services, because that would be the most efficient. What units will be the new airport line? That will be two sets of BR Class 150s. That will. It's a funny story that will happen with those, or at least like their lead up to them arriving. I don't know if I will talk about it now. Sure, whatever. I don't know if you all know about Arriva, a train operating company that runs a few services, or at least did run a few services in the UK. It also runs services here in Denmark. Mostly in Jylland. Basically, in the 1980s, a Serbian prime minister wanted to perhaps give the Northwestern Railway a little bit more competition. So, some slots in the schedule were allowed to be run by Arriva, or actually more like Northern Rail, which was Arriva Northern, So they got some slots in the schedule to try and like compete with the Northwestern Railway. It didn't work. The Northwestern Railway kind of won the battle, but two of the sets that was allocated to Solar, which were two 150s, got along very well. So when it was decided that the new airport would need its own passenger service, they were brought back to take care of it. Yeah, it's kind of the idea of those sets. I think what I want to do now is just find a big building for them. Station building. Sorry, answering snaps. Don't want to leave people hanging. But yeah, basically the idea of Arriva and stuff running on Solar is why some 150s came to Sodor. Does Neville exist in my series? He does. He works on the main line, mostly as a goods locomotive, but also handles passenger trains every now and then. Well, Avery Productions, thank you for tuning in. How many firms operate buses on Sodor? Right. Let's quickly go back to the map, the Sudrian map that I had. This one. You see these kind of oh, no, wrong one. You see these kind of like markers, line markers here. Basically, those are counties. Like Sodor is split up into 5 counties, and each county has their own bus, like a bus corporation, which runs bus services. You also have some cross county lines that run all the way across the island. So in modern day, for like public companies that are like state owned, there are 5, and for like private, there are a few more, but we mostly focus on the public ones. Well, the line in question for the airport, a plane. That was basically because the airport wasn't busy enough to require its own service back in the day. Like it has a station on the main line, but so it was thought that all the commuter services could cover the trains enough. But eventually, the airport became so busy that they needed more trains to run there, and that happened by the 80s. Yeah, which is of course when the 150s came about. How did you make that on? Yeah, how did you make that on Paint? Well, I found a template, a clean slate of Sodor that I use to just draw my lines on and stuff in Paint. And I use Paint because it has like that curved line function that kind of makes it look realistic enough. Yeah. But converting some electric motors. Well, in my headcanon, most of the electric locomotives that come as part of the Northwestern 2035 plan, they will be bimode locomotives. So they can both run on electric and on diesel. Basically, partly because when they arrive first, not all lines will be electrified, but also just as a backup in case there's a power outage. Because of course, if it's only electric locomotives and there is a power outage, the railway won't run. But if they have bimode, so that they can also run on diesel power, they can kind of recover services until the power grid is up and running again. Does Railgate Prison exist? Not necessarily like the Railgate Prison itself, but like some detention centers would. Sounds bad. It sounds stupid to say that, but like, detention centers would exist a few places around the country to take care of engines who've been naughty. Lois ended up on the first airport line that was introduced in the engine rival Max. So he ended up helping him and run those services. What things happen after Soda split from BR? Well, the Northwestern Railway, of course, gained a lot more freedom in terms of what they could do with their operations after they split from the British Railways. What is the story about the coffee pod engines in your headcanon? Well, the story about my coffee pod engines in my headcanon is that they never existed on Soda. If I did have the Tidmouth Knapford and Uxbridge Light Railway in my headcanon, which I would if I could go back and change things, they probably would be there. It probably would be there. So, yeah. At the moment, they're not existent in the headcanon. Where did Sheffield end up? He ended up as the main shunter at Barrow. What aircraft are used for Soda Airline and the Air Force? Well, present day, the Air Force uses mostly... Hold on, I need to find the overview that I have of it. Present day, Soda has F-35 fighter jets as like their main roster, but they also have a small amount of Eurofighter Typhoon jets. Those are like their main like fighting types. They also have the Hercules as a transport ship or transport craft, and a Bombardier Challenger 600 for patrol. And they have some helicopters as well. But the airline, like Soda Airlines, they use mostly Airbus. They use Airbus 220s for like their main travels in and outside the country. Well, the Fire 8, thank you for joining and have a good day. I'll probably also leave soon because I've been streaming for over 2.5 hours, and while I've had fun, I need to take a break from talking so much. My poor voice. My poor voice is tired. Tired man. Well, about the 2800. Yes, but there is a but. There is a but to that, which I will not go into now, because that's for a later date. Nope, too big. See if I can find any that would like work. It needs to be like a relatively big station building, of course, to fit within the stuff. The setup here. See if there are any ones I can take inspiration from over here. Any buildings. I like this one. Converting electric engines to bi-mode, that is definitely more realistic than the steam diesel conversion thing. I would say that would make a lot of sense. And definitely be more realistic, and it would make sense, at least, which is a good start. So yeah, go for that. I think I would also go for that if I was in a similar situation. I think the current electric locomotives that I have running on the electrified Peel Galway branch, they will probably not be converted. But you never know, they might. I need to be further away from here. Like right there. Just by the edge of the canopy. Ish. Well, Yusuf, thank you for coming along, and have a good day. Yeah. It's going to be more engine arrival. I don't want to promise anything with engine arrival. It's going to happen, of course. I've not given up on the series, but it's a little bit on the back burner for now because there's another important project I have to get out before I can really continue with it. But it's not dead, and it won't be dead. Do I think swearing is bad? I don't really have anything against people who swear. I swear myself. Not that formal. People can do what they want. I'm not gonna judge people who swear. You do whatever you want. I am making a station for Peel Gotrit. A modern station, a big one, that can like accommodate a city of such massive size. Yeah, cool. Well, that makes sense. I think those are also the most common electric locomotives. At least like the ones that would make the most sense to convert. Like kinda in the realm of the class 93, the class 93 right now. They will have driving van trailers for a lot of the mainline trains. I'm like working on a set to which includes a driving van trailer. It's not done yet, but it will happen. Does Dustin appear in my AU? I don't have a model of Dustin, so at the moment, no. I know there is one for Trainz 2019, but I, of course, don't use Trainz 2019 or 22, so it's kind of dead right there. I mean, this is not bad. I think this is pretty good. I might need a new building for it, but yeah. I think this is a good start at least. Is Nia going to be appear in my series? Well, going back to what we talked about with Hero, why? Why would she, first of all, why would she appear? Why would a Kenyan engine appear? I've been to Kenya. I know it's a nice place, but why would the Kenyan engine go all the way to Sodor when they could probably get other engines easier from the UK? Yeah. So at the moment, no, she's not going to be appearing in my series. How did Arthur get a spotless record? I don't think he has one in my series. What train sim do I use? Well, for making videos, I use Trainz New Era. I do also have Train Simulator if I just want to drive some trains. Peter's very soon in the when he'll arrive. He'll be arriving very soon. Like not a lot of videos from now. He's not the next one, but he is one of the next ones. The Express also goes from case. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Well, they're going to feel good about it because the railway series, of course, brought a lot of attention to the railway. And, I mean, the mood is going to be damped a little bit by, recent events with with the passing of Brit, which is unfortunate, a big loss for the fandom. But as the Unlucky Tuck said in his video, we can at least be happy that she knows how much of an impact her show has, her contributions have had on the fandom and people. That's at least something we can rest easily with. Yeah. Sad. Any North Staffordshire railway locomotives on Soda? Yeah. Stafford. Stafford is there. There he is. He'll be working on the Great Waterton branch as well. There he is. Samson, he's the main shunter at Great Waterton. The man himself, the other electric engine, one would say. Right, people, I've been streaming for almost 3 hours now, and I'm a tired man, and I've been yapping for 3 hours non-stop, basically. So I think I'm gonna end this right here. We got some of Pilgardre done, but we'll try to work on it at a later time. So I guess there's nothing more to say than thank you for 10,000 subscribers, which is, you know, insane, absolutely mental that we reached that. And also just thank you for being so curious about my headcanon, and hopefully the answers I've been giving today have been reasonable, understandable, and they make sense. So I am gonna leave that right here. Thank you all for watching this stream. We should do more streams, right? I want to do more streams. It's been fun. And yeah, good luck with all your future endeavors to all of you, and I guess we'll see each other next week for the next video about politics. That'll be fun, right? Alright. Bye!